Hey guys, Matt back for photo news and reviews. Sorry it's been a while between videos. I've been really hectic with the rebrand over at the other channel. If you haven't already seen it, the social media and the channel name's changed. There's a link in the caption below. Today I'm coming in to tell you about some news from Olympus. Now, I started out being an Olympus shooter for all my formative years and it's always had a soft spot in my heart, and I'm really excited about this product announcement. It's rare that I get excited about just an announcement. But you might know that I have used and raved about the Olympus OM-D E-M1 a lot. I am not a mirrorless shooter, but if I was going to buy one for a long time, that was my number one choice. And even now that a lot of time has passed, it's still in my top two, and probably, there's no separating it and the other front runner. But there was a couple of things that held it back from me. And today they've just announced the OM-D E-M1, which is the new flagship. It looks like they're going to be selling both of them for a little while at least, but it ups the ante in every regard, especially the ones that I particularly wanted to see improved. And I got to be honest, this is incredibly tempting for me. And they've announced the new constant 2.8 zoom, so I'm going to tell you about that one as well. So let's jump into it. Okay, so the OM-D E-M1, it's a micro four thirds, so it's still going to have a 2x crop factor compared to your 35mm. Looking at the RRP, you're looking at 1400. Well, it's not RRP, but that's what it's up for pre-sale for at the moment. Whereas the M5, now that this announcement has come out, you can get with a rebate down to $900. So for a great camera, that's great money. And one of the things I really loved about the M5, it looks so good. It looks really good, but it had everything you want to back it up. And man, on paper, the E-M1 looks even better. Let's run through it. I'll just cycle a couple of images here for you. So first of all, the E-M5 had incredible autofocus. I mean, like, it blew me away. Why can't a DSLR focus this well? It was that good. The M5 had 35 autofocus points. The new guy has a new dual system that's got contrast and phase detection, and it has 81 contrast points and 37 phase. So it's going from 35 up to 118. Crazy. I can't wait to see how improved that one is. Let me just run through some of the specs for you here and then talk you through the things that I was really looking for it to include, and it has. So it's got that new dual AF system. It's got the latest imaging engine in it, the TruePic 7 processor. Of course, they come with a 40-year legacy. OMDs are a great name, and they've kept a lot of the styling. It's a little bit different to the last one. For one reason that I'll get to, I actually really like it. Now, it's got a 1 million dot LCD just over on the back, tilty flippy 3-inch screen. That's up from 610K on the M5. Instead of keep saying M5, when I say it's up from, that's what I'm talking about. This one has focus peaking. The M1 has focus peaking for manual focus. The electronic viewfinder. Now, not everyone loves an electronic viewfinder. I don't love it, but it worked quite well in the E-M1. It's up to 2.36 million dot, up from 1.44, and it's 100% coverage. So that extra resolution should prove for some really, crisp and great images through the EVF. Like the old one, it's weather-sealed magnesium alloy body. They were quite weather-sealed using the compatible lens. They were really quite splash-proof. This one is stating 16.3 megapixel resolution, then 16.1, but effective is actually 15.9. when you actually do the maths on the image that it's putting out. So really not much of a change from the E-M5, but it does look to be a completely new chip that's in this guy. Same ISO up to 25,600. You're not going to want to be shooting up there on any camera if you can avoid it, but if they've improved the performance, that's always welcomed. Still got the 5-axis stabilization, and that was one of the big things for me about the OM-D. It was OMG effing amazing. The stabilization just blew me away. So if that's as good, great. If it's even a step higher, then fantastic. I can't believe it. It's got an interval timer. It's up to 10 frames a second from 9.2 on the M5. A couple of big things from my point of view. Now the maximum speed is 1/8,000th of a second. It was 1/4,000th of a second. If you do a lot of outdoor shooting, or if you're going to be doing flash stuff, that's really, really cool. And in terms of exposure compensation, it goes from plus and minus 3 to now plus and minus 5. That's another great plus in my mind. Two other really big things, which if you haven't had extensive time shooting with the M5, or you're not me, may not first jump out at you. First of all, the new grip. So the old one, I found that whilst aesthetically, the old grip I think worked really, really well. Ergonomically, I didn't find it did with my big hands. So, and the grip and the battery pack were separate units. If you wanted them both, you had to buy them both individually. So they had one that would just extend out this grip part where your hand goes. Well, now it's got a bigger grip. Kind of the styling looks between an OM-D and the Panasonic GH series a little bit now. Another big one for me is this guy now has a mic input port. So having said mirrorless is not for me, one of the reasons that when I've traveled, I haven't, when I've had a mirrorless and I've had a DSLR, I haven't been taking the mirrorless out that much, is because I want to be able to plug in audio and get the highest quality without having to buy adapters and that kind of thing to put on top. The simpler I can keep things, the better. The fact that this now has one, and it does full HD, and it does 29-minute clips, it's really tempting. The only sticking point, of course, is then you need to buy all new lenses. That said, they have just brought out a brand new lens. This one is a 12 to 40 constant 2.8, and this is their first constant 2.8 for this line, and they're branding it a new Pro line. I haven't seen any tests on this one to know how good it is, but Olympus make great glass. It's just a given. Their 12mm prime that I used when I was using the M5, it's astonishing. I don't mean great for a toy camera, I mean it's just a really great lens. So I'll be really keen to see this one. That's an equivalent of 24 to 80 constant 2.8. It is $1,000. But I don't have one handy. But if you're using a 24 to 70 on your DSLR, they go from $1,200 from a Tamron up to $2,000 for the latest generation Canon. So $1,000 if it's fantastic, and if it's really well built, and if, then that could be fantastic. It is only a 7-blade circular aperture where, it's nice to see 8 or 9, but being that it's a much smaller lens, I don't know, maybe that equates to, but there's probably some formula to work that sort of thing out. Other things, there's of course a new grip for it, for the M1, $200. That's another $200 you probably don't want to spend, but it's a lot better than the $400 or $500 or $600 that the D800 grip first came out at, and that a lot of DSLR grips come out at as well. So I got to be perfectly honest, I can't wait to get this one in. When I actually first heard about this from B&H, they sent through their news blast that it was now announced. I called up my contact at Olympus Australia straight away and said, just got the news, when can I get it to test? I'd already spoken to them about getting something potentially to, take on my upcoming trip to Singapore. So I'm going to be doing my damnedest to get this EM1 and be able to test it out. They're also going to be featuring it, obviously, at the digital show that I'm going to on the weekend. So I will, if I'm allowed to, get a card in the body and get sample shots out to you guys as soon as possible. So make sure you're checking mattgranger.com for all those updates. Other news and things in terms of if I do get to actually have good hands-on time with it, it'll probably go up on the Matt Granger YouTube channel. But when I get to do a proper, a technical kind of review, then that'll be either here or there. We'll see how it pans out. So make sure you subscribe to both of them. But I got to say, looking at the improvements on this one, really great. What can I say? With those improvements, this could be the mirrorless camera that brings me over. And I think the styling is still really nice. Of course, you want to see it in person to really see how it is in the hand. But yeah, it's rare that I get this excited about an announcement, but I really am. So stay tuned for more news. Let me know your thoughts on it. What do you think of the price? What do you think of the speeches and specs? Is this something that could bring you across to mirrorless or consider a brand switch? Let me know. I'll see you soon. More photo news and reviews coming soon. Bye.